Okay. Brian, do you want to open up for what we're doing here? Or I will.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I want to thank everybody for jumping on. With our broker level account, we've got about 90 users right now. And, I feel the biggest challenge with a system like this is getting in there and consistently using it. Most of you get tired of hearing me say that, but we've got to be consistent and persistent with all the things that we're trying to work on. Vincent Mesa is here with us today. He's the VP of listings to leads, and he and his partner Scott Pierce. What's you guys are going on 10, 11 years, something like that, maybe
14.
longer? 14,
14.
yeah.
Yeah.
I get mixed up on how long I've been doing this stuff, and I've been using listings to leads for a long time. And um, with my team, we use it in a lot of different aspects, and I appreciate that listings to leads is taking an emphasis on generating listings now. So um, because of some of the NAR settlement stuff floating around and the changes that may come, but why not control inventory and control your commissions at a higher level through listings? So
Yeah. So let me jump in there then. I think Brian is right, in saying that we've always had the functionality to generate more listings, and I think our senior agents, our senior clients, kind of knew like it's better to have listings in your business than just the bulk of buyers agents. And now with the NAR settlement, the world's a little bit nebulous on what is commissions going to look like. How are you going to get paid as a buyer's agent? And I'm sure that'll sort that self out in some amount of time. But in the long run, having your own listings and the ability to market those listings to get buyers and also to get more listings is just crucial to everybody's business, right? It's important to everybody's business. So if you, I'm assuming you all have access to our platform, and that means you would all have an agent account. And Brian has kind of an umbrella account. And what's up with my computer here? Is my mouse dead? My mouse is moving. Is that moving? Hold on a second, guys. That's all I need is, well, I've been typing this morning. So there we go. Computer needs coffee too. So what I'm going to show you, everybody has access to. And what I want to focus on is how you get listings. Now, Brian, I can't remember if I sent you this document, but I'm going to send it to you after this call. And it is called Top Tools for More Listings. And so I'm going to kind of go through this back and forth so that we are looking at it. And when you have it on your desk, you know what I'm talking about, because I give a call every 2 weeks on the top tools for more listings. And this is it. It's based on this, right? So let's just start at the top. We have a nearby homeowner letter. It is the #1 tool for capturing high quality listing leads. It is a piece of paper. Okay. Brian, if you've heard recently, had some really awesome success with running a pending ad, and that's #2 on, or a sold ad. That's #2 on this list. I'm going to show you how to run a pending and a sold ad and why it's different and why it's important to run both. Then creating a property valuation page, running ads with Facebook and Google, and how to do that. And I'll tell you this right up front, everybody. I know you're going to get distracted on this call. So hear this. When you create a property valuation page, and let's just say you create it for what's your home worth in Conway. If you go run an ad on Facebook, if it's a high dense area, there are a lot of adjacent towns, the ad can work against you for in targeting. Facebook basically doesn't have a lot of targeting for you anymore. It's fine in some ads, in other ads, it's not very helpful at all. And so we'll talk a little bit about that. We've also got seller PDF guides. You each, when you log in, have 80, but 40 of them are for homeowners. And so you can share them for free. You can print out flyers. You can blast them out in your CRM, or you can run ads and get people to download this as long as they give you contact information. There's a home sold report, and this is on the advanced options of every home valuation page, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then there's just straight home sold postcards, um, and sold report postcards, and then there's a lot of e-flyers to blast out. And then the last thing, which it was actually the last thing on my list, is creating a custom audience on Facebook. And I'll tell you this, you know, as Brian was saying, and I was saying, listings are going to become more important in the industry. And they were already tough to get prior to the NAR settlement. They were just, they're not all over the place. And so my opinion is that you're going to have more competition getting listings. And this advanced thing at the very bottom of this list says upload a custom audience to Facebook for better targeting. And I'm going to go there very quickly because I'm going to tie it to this nearby homeowner. There's number one on this list. And the last thing is a custom audience. So let's kind of get into it. So we'll go back and forth to that kind of list, but let's go into the listings. And so one thing I want to tell you is you don't need your own listings to use our number one tool. Just like borrowing a listing to run an ad, you can borrow a listing and get this number one listing tool. So if you don't have your own listings, you can grab it right here. You can drop in the zip code and the MLS ID. It's going to pull it in and create all these tools for you. And you might work with a FSBO. You can bring that in, right? But I would tell you this: if you pull in if you borrow a listing in a town where you want more listings, then you're going to have access to one of the best tools that I think you can find anywhere. And let's just look at it. So a lot of our clients use it when it's just listed, okay? And you can market a home when it's just listed, when it's open house, when it's pending, when it's coming soon, and when it's sold. And if you want to grow your business, you should be marketing it multiple times, because each time the early stages are getting buyers and the later stages are getting more listings. So all these things we create automatically. We're not going to go through them all. We're going to talk about the ones that get listings. And the number one tool is the nearby homeowner letter, right? It's at the top of the list. Let's look at it real quick. It is not sexy. It is not artificial intelligence. It's not, it's just common sense. It's saying, I've just listed a property and you can go check it out right there. And that's going to affect the value of your home. And so if you want your own free home value, go here. Now I'm going to click on it because I'm on a computer, but what that really was a piece of paper, right? And so what you have to think is, well, I'm going to get this to somebody. They're going to walk in their own house to their own computer and type in that. Then they're going to give you their address, and let me just show you what it means when you type in an address. You will get, at this point, you will get the address, and you'll just know that. When we get to the next page, and I think we've done some things here, so this isn't just a default page here. When we get to the next page, it's going to ask for the email address. And then if they give you the email address, that's when we show them the value and the estimate of their home. Okay. So you might just get an address, or you might get an address and an email address. And that's kind of as good as you can get. Now, I'll answer this question if it's ringing through your mind. If you require a phone number on this page, you can kind of kill your lead gen. I can show you ways to get leads with phone numbers, but asking to type it in, now notice I put in 5, just a number, and I'm putting in my email address. And why am I asking, right? Well, I'm thinking about selling. Okay. You have to answer those things to get, including an email address, to get the value. We're using onboard infometrics to get that value. And you can see it's kind of showing you a picture of where your home is on the map. And that's meant to make you feel more comfortable for giving up your contact information. So I'm just showing you here how this landing page works. And it's going to just knock out some numbers, and there's some call to actions and stuff like that, right? That's kind of what happens. So you would have that information as we're getting it right now. So let's go over to the mastermind group. If you're not in the mastermind group, please get in there. And I'm going to show you how our clients are maximizing that letter right now. If you're in the mastermind group, I recommend that you go check out this lady's name, Pat Motley. And in September of last year, she said, here's the letter. I'm mailing 100 out when they're just sold. And so she prints it out 100 pieces right in her computer, right? She does something I've never seen any of our clients do. She flips them over and prints on the back so they look like an envelope. That little red thing there actually comes from Publisher. It comes from the software. It's not a hand stamp. But that handwritten address is her and her friends handwriting 100 envelopes and then folding it. So you can kind of tell there's some information in there. And that little graphic is telling you this is local stuff. So our clients don't typically go this far, but I want to explain to you why she is going that far. She's been a client for more than 10 years. She's been in this mastermind group time and time again, telling us how many leads she's getting. But here's what she says here. She says, I just sold this home, so it's time to mail out 100 just sold pieces. And she says, I mailed out 100 when it was just listed, and 4 owners called me for home values. So she mailed these to people, and they didn't even bother going to that web address. They just called her, right? They got what it was. It was a valuable enough letter. But the point of this, if you look in the comments, is that she says, hey, I got another 4 listings on this sold. So one home, 200 pieces of mail generated 8 listings for this year in 2024. And I can tell you, Pat mails like religiously when she has a property that's just listed and just sold. And if you look in the mastermind group, you'll notice a couple of years ago that she was saying, hey, I sold something in a condo, in a condo, development, and I keep mailing out these letters. I'm now on my 3rd listing from the same condo. So she knows how to use that, and she puts good use to it. I also want to share with you, just in case, she gave somewhere right around that same time, she put in the script. It's right here. This is for Publisher. So if you look up her name in the mastermind group on September 19th, if you use Microsoft Publisher, she's giving you the template to print on your own letters if you want to flip them over and do it yourself. I'm also going to mention this guy here. And, I've been, sorry, I just heard something. So this guy, Dustin, I'm going to explain to you a bit of why you want to get involved with this. So what I do is I sell, partnerships and brand, national stuff. And then I set up offices like Brian. Brian and I started working together a while ago to get you guys on board. Well, I signed up Dustin's office probably 6 years ago with Pearson Smith, just south of DC in Virginia. And he was a rookie doing 5 million in volume in his second year of an office of what, 300 agents. They've now doubled. They're now 600 agents, and he's in the top 5 percentile. He actually has a call we recorded with him in this group because he kept coming in the mastermind group and saying all these things and how it's working. And so we asked him to join us on a call, and he said, I want to do this because I went from 5 to 20 in 2 years, and 80% of my business comes from your platform. And I was blown away because I hadn't spoken to him before. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. I said, how much time do you put in our system to do that, to go, to grow your business like that? And he said 2 hours a week. He says, I put my daughter in ballet and I go to Starbucks next door and I work on my laptop for 2 hours every week. And that's how I went from 5 to 20. That's how I tripled my business in 2 years. He is now in the top 5 percentile of a 600 agent firm. And this is how I learned about him. It was in our mastermind group. He said, hey, I want to tell everybody this is a highest ROI, different view, same letter, get your home value. He puts a little 1-page card of him and his wife in there, a little calendar. He mails, I think, 250 homes. He even made a little Canva review thing of his Zillow reviews, and he mails them, and it cost him $625. He got 10 listings, for which average commission of $17,000. And he was saying, this is our highest ROI. And you can kind of figure that out, yourself. What I want to tell you these people are doing is they are buying lists from companies like RedX or ListSource or Remind. Let's see here, right here, ListSource. Goodness gracious, I think.
Some of our agents have land voice too, Vince.
Oh, okay. So if that's a good resource, normally, and so that's how really our clients have begun, is using lists like this with people with 5 or 6 years equity and longer, and mailing a letter, like the nearby homeowner letter. That's what Dustin's been doing. That's what Pat's been doing, and many of our other clients, those that want listings. Now, that might seem like a lot of work, so I'm going to show you something right here. That's the easy way, because we were so excited about this letter that it was generating business for our clients that we wanted to find an easy solution. So we found this company, Express Copy, and they are a printer, national printer. If you go sign up with them there, and then you can connect it, and then you can just click this button here that says print and mail. And Express Copy has a national database of everybody with equity, right? So it's super simple. Instead of going through all the work like Pat, who's handwriting 200 letters, you just click this button that says get mail list. And you decide, do I want a 1 or 2 mile radius around that home? And you can decide, but they're going to send it to homeowners with more than 6 years equity. 100 pieces will go out for $185. We are not taking any percentage of this. We're just getting a technology pass through so that it makes it easier for you by just clicking that green button to get those letters out. So you might have more, of a budget, and you want to kind of get that out. That's a really easy way to do it. Otherwise, Pat's giving us a more custom look. And even Dustin is saying, hey, I'm mailing it first class, and I'm putting it in black envelopes so it doesn't look like bulk mail. That's really the trick. And so if you go in the mastermind group, you'll see people like Alicia Pless, who was taking my classes, and I was saying, hey, you got to do something to make it not look like junk mail. And so she went and started buying like super bright colored envelopes, and you just got to go, well, what's this, right? And Alicia Pless owns her own office. She just keeps using this to get more listings. So that's kind of the key there. That's how you get the number one tool that we generate to capture more listings. And I want to remind you, you don't have to do it with your own listings, right? You could borrow a listing, but our clients who get the most value out of that, they mail it when it's just listed and when it's just sold. A lot of our clients, I have an open house here, they'll use this for door knocking, right? If you're going to go door knock with an open house, get the nearby homeowner letter. There's a whole open house marketing kit, but they will download this and bring it out and just say, hey, go check out the home. By the way, that's going to affect your home value. So a lot of people, we've heard so many times where people are like, I door knocked for like 2 hours and I had listing leads in my car before I got back in my car. And that's because this letter is simple. It's not a heavy read. It's really straightforward. And if you want to know your home value, you can get it just instantly. So one more thing about the list, and Brian said that you guys have access to a platform to help you develop those lists. You want to use them in mail. You also, if you can, want to import them into like a CRM or a constant contact where you can email these people, right? And then lastly, you want to come over here into our ad section here, and each of you want to do this. And again, this is with the the premise of listings are going to not get easier to find; they're going to be more competitive to find going forward, right? And so, if you want to be on the front end, of that race, what I'm showing you right now is what I highly recommend to all of our clients, and that is to get that list. And you can start with just your core city. I would start with one city, because this is what there's some steps here. Come to this ads page and you'll see this button that says create audience. Okay. And you can call it Conway homeowners, right? And when you do that, what we're telling you is it has to be 1,000 leads long. And the spreadsheet needs to look just like this. only 4 columns. I'm pretty sure, Brian, when you download that out of the system that you have, there's probably like 20 columns of data, right?
There's, yeah.
Save that because you're going to need that for mailing, to those people. But here you're going to save another copy, and it's only going to have 4 columns of those exact headings: email, number, first name, last name. And if you don't have a phone number, if you don't have an email, no problem, but it still needs those headings because that's just like the format that Facebook takes it. Then you upload it and you import it, and this will live in your Facebook business page. It's not living in listings to leads. We're not doing anything with it. We're just passing it through in a couple clicks. And here's why you want to do that. Because if I go create a landing page ad on maybe a Conway home value page that I created, now I don't have one, but I have one for Atlanta, so we can still talk about it there. Type in the zip code. I don't know the zip code for Atlanta. I'm just going to put in mine. And I'll show you why. And here it says lead ads. Leave that on. That means that the lead is coming with a pre-populated name, email, and phone number from the profile. So nobody is typing anything in. And I think Brian can tell you, and I know in your 2-minute video there, you got 114 buyer leads and it's turned into 3 or 4 transactions, right? So the numbers are, they're not 100% accurate because some people forget to put their new phone number in. But this is how agents typically want to run this ad. They will type in Atlanta, right? And this could work, and it could also not work. And I'll show you an example of why. But this is what I actually don't want you to do. And you can test it this way. What I would prefer that you do is you check this box that says retarget current leads. And if you have a list that says Conway homeowners or Frisco homeowners or whatever, you target those people because you got that list from your resource. So you already know they have equity. So if you're finding a list from whatever company you want, and you're saying, hey, these people have 5 or 6 years equity, you are mailing them twice a month. When you run an ad, if they are on Facebook in this 7-day period here, you're going to get leads from that same group of people. If you loaded that into a constant contact, there's an e-flyer for this landing page. You can send that out via email. And that is how you're going to really attack your key farm markets. Not throwing out one ad twice a year and thinking like this is how you're going to build this business. It's going to be consistently do 2 mailings of that letter or any version of this letter twice a month into your core farm market. Run an ad every week. And it doesn't always have to be this home value ad. It could be a sold ad. So if you saw that video that Brian posted over the weekend, he ran a sold ad. Let me show you how you do that. What we just did right there was run a home valuation page ad for Atlanta. And with that, I really highly recommend you use a custom audience. But if you have a property that is sold, it's pretty easy. You click market listing and you click Facebook and Instagram ads. And I think this is exactly what Brian did. I actually asked you in the comments, I was like, did you do anything custom here? And you said, no, I just, boom, hit it. So this is how he did it. Now, mine, it's grayed out, but it says the best listing. It's going to be sponsored by your business page. Okay. It's not going to be talking about us at all. That's just our little testing ads page, right? So all he did was click that green button. You can see the text here. It says this home is sold. It's going to affect your home value. Click here to get your home value. And in Brian's story, he got a lead and texted that lead, which is super smart to do. And I'm sure, Brian, you're telling your team about that because I don't know how long you guys have been in the industry, but there's an old saying that's speed to lead. Speed to lead. You get that lead, I got to call them right now, right? And that statement was developed long before cell phones that were telling you, here's a spam call, or here's a number that I don't even know. And I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but there are so many scams on the phone. My business partners here got their social security number ripped off on the phone. And that's just one example. You hear about it all over the country. So Why is somebody going to take your call? And you're like, hey, I see that you saw something and can I help you? I don't know who you are. But that's what's happening. And that's when realtors are like, that was a crap lead. That, Facebook is useless. But there are a lot of people that know, hey, if I text them and email them multiple times in that first 2 to 3 days and get them comfortable, they will take the phone call if they're answering those questions. I'm not going to, blow them up. And I'm not going to expect them to be in my office in 24 hours. Brian lucked out, right? But that doesn't happen all the time. So I really recommend having a drip campaign that's hitting them twice a day, like for the first 3 or 4 days, and you're texting them once or twice a day until and you're asking them questions. You'll notice that we have PDF guides that you can drop off if you want. Give them value, help them, and help them, get comfortable until they're ready just to have a chat with you, and then set up an appointment, right? So here it's already targeting the city in a 15-mile radius, and that typically can work. You don't have to retarget that current list. And Brian didn't. He just boom. And I'm going to show you one more thing, and I know Brian has heard me say this, but I want to make sure you know this. If you run an ad on a home that is pending, the language, the call to action is almost identical. And there's something that you may not know about Facebook is these ads, sorry, sun coming in here, are called pay per click advertising. Okay. So when I have a $50 ad and it's saying that's my max I can spend over 7 days, but the cost per lead is different based on what you're doing. If I run a sold ad, there are some realtors that actually advertise sold listings. And Facebook knows that listings are more important to realtors than buyers, so they charge you more. So a sold ad, when you're generating listings for $50, it's the cost of those leads on average is $7 a lead. Okay. So you divide 7 into 50, you're going to get 7 leads within 7 days, maybe sooner, right? But that's kind of how it works. But if you are running an ad on a home that is pending or under contract, no agent is doing that. They don't even know that they can do that, right? And so because you have no competition running that kind of ad, Facebook doesn't charge you a lot for those leads. You get the same kind of lead, name, email, and phone number for people wanting their home value, but those leads cost $2.50. So the same $50 ad is going to net you 20 leads, not 7. Okay. Now, a few minutes ago, I showed you how to run that Atlanta.
Real quick, Vincent. So
Yes,
you cannot do a grab listing on a an already pending or an already sold property. Is that accurate?
correct. Yeah. You
Okay.
can't grab that. You have to grab that when it's active.
Correct.
You could manually enter it in, but
Right.
but you can't grab it like that. That's correct.
Okay.
So that's a little bit about the Facebook stuff. I want you definitely to remember that it's time to get your custom audiences going. And you want to think about your core target market. And I really recommend that you start with 1 or maybe 2 farm markets where you're getting the list, you're putting in an email hopper, where you can email them. And right here is an e-flyer for your database. When you see these words, this e-flyer says, we've got a home that's pending. And you can click here and land on that page, which we've generated for you. And there's lead capture here, right? The call to action will be offering a free home value, right? So you can copy that code and blast it out on that list of people, right? So let's say it's Conway homeowners with more than 6 years equity. So you can do that. You want to do that once a week. Now, you might not have multiple listings in your account. I have a bunch of listings. So you might not have that. But if the home was just listed or coming soon or open house or pending or sold, just get out an email once a week because you're building your brand. There are call to actions on every flyer and you can go for it. Now, if you don't have any listings at all in your account and you haven't been able to borrow one yet, there are 80 PDF guides and you are branded on every page of these. Okay. And 40 of them are for homeowners. Nothing wrong with using buyer ones as well, because it's really building your brand. But if you want, let's just go, here's 5 dangers of overpricing. That's a relevant topic in every market. You can see here, you can run a Facebook ad, you can run a Google ad, you can share it on social media, but here's an e-flyer for your database. So if you've got that database of Conway homeowners, you should be sending this out kind of like once a week. There's 40 of these, so that's almost every week, right? You take some holidays off. You click on that link or you click on that picture, and you're going to land on a page where you have to give up your contact information to download that report. All of these reports are 5 or 6 pages long. So you don't really need to even pay for that, right? You just copy and share it out. There are print solutions if you feel like door knocking, if you're holding a class, there's flyers, there's door hangers. And if you do, let's see what happens when we do a postcard. I'm just curious if we built this in. Ideally, and I know in some areas, you like on the listing side, you can use express copy to mail that are just sold postcards to people who have equity. So here, oh yeah, we got it built in. That's awesome. Yeah. So remember how I was saying express copy, they have the database of people with equity. If I click this, they're going to send it to people with equity. I don't even need to buy that list, right? But you could download it, you print it in a local shop, and then use your own list and get it out. It's, multiple ways of hitting that up. Let's just have a preview. So, we got QR codes in there, basic information. That's the front, that's the back. Both front and back are both going to get you to either, it's going to get you contact information. So you want to be using that. So even if you don't have listings, you've got PDF guides that you can use ads for, you can use free e-flyers or print solution. And then let's just go over and talk about landing pages real quick. And we talked, I keep talking about Conway. I'm sure, Brian, are there like a handful of cities where you guys operate?
Our office is in the Woodlands, Texas. I think you're referring to Conroe. Yeah, so Conroe, Magnolia. We've got Manelli's in Katy, I believe. Dan's in Montgomery.
Yeah.
So we've got.
So when you come into your account, guys, thank you, Brian. Sorry, Conroe, that's what it was.
That's all right.
When you come here, you will have 3 landing pages in your account already: down payer assistance, new construction, and free home values. Our free home value page, however, does not look like that. What you want to do is you want to create a landing page called Property Valuation Plus for each of your farm markets. And you could say the Woodlands, right? And create landing page. And what that will do, we'll look at it right here. It will create a landing page that will offer a free home value. And I kind of explained to you that process. I do highly recommend, however, that you get a photograph of something that is relevant to that area, right? And maybe there's an entrance, or maybe there's a sign, maybe there's a mall, maybe there's a really great restaurant that everybody knows, right? That actually works really well. Let me show you this. Summit Diner. So we've had Summit, New Jersey, Coldwell Banker clients for years, and we do calls like this to kind of train people. And the owner calls me a month after we did the first rollout call. He says, it's like, Vince, we're getting so many leads, and the number one home value ad is the one with the Summit Diner in the back, right? Now you can see that this is like a converted railroad car kind of look, and you get your old bacon and eggs kind of story here. And that town is only 22,000 people big. So if you know this place, if you know Summit Diner, you know Summit, New Jersey, and that's just going to establish a little bit of trust when I hit your page. Because
I'm from there.
Oh,
I'm from Summit, New Jersey.
No kidding.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know that diner?
Yes, it's pretty famous.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. And that's, it's giving a local feeling to your page, because if you go out with this, you don't know who this is. You got a coffee cup, great, right? But if you're saying, I know your area, there's a place right here, says upload image, and you get something that's just relevant and local, so that when you're mailing this out or when you're running an ad and driving people to it, they're going to feel like, oh, okay, you're from my area. If we click advanced options here, you'll see that we have print marketing. So I keep mentioning, what company is it? Express Copy. Express Copy will mail this to people who have equity. You just click right here. So you customize it so that it works, and then you get it in front of people. And so remember when I was saying you want to mail a letter twice a month in your poor farm market, right? So if it's the Woodlands, maybe once a month you're sending something on an open house or something you just listed or something you just sold. 2 weeks later, you do this letter, which is what we call a home sold report. You can edit it. We'll look at it real quick here. You can edit it before you mail it. And you want to edit it. You'll notice here, there's no cool picture there, but you want to say, 20 homes sold in the Woodlands, the high is here, et cetera, right? And then it's very simple. They're going to scan it in 5 seconds and go, oh, I can get my free home value. And you know what that's all about. Okay. So when I'm saying get 2 letters, it might be a letter like this that's on the back of a home valuation landing page, or it might be something related to a listing, right? Now, when and I'll point out here in advanced options, if you put that list, because you got that list somehow, there's an e-flyer right here. So you can copy this down here, and you can see here, it's the same kind of message. You can say, hey, X number of homes sold, get your free home value. There's another page here which has all of your listings, and there's another page here that has all of your reviews. All of those pages capture leads for you and deliver them to you. So you can copy that and use that. And so you got print here. You can even auto post it. So if you are, if the Woodlands is an important part of your business, you can create the landing page and click this here, and this will auto post that landing page with some language on it so that people will just see it, right? But you may not have a huge audience, right? You may not have a huge following on your social media, and that's why ads are really, really important. So if we go over here to ads, which we've been to before, and the Woodlands is actually a very when I'm talking about the custom audience, is that Dallas? Is that part of Dallas, like the broader
North of Houston.
Houston? Okay, I forgot. Yeah, Houston. That's right. I haven't been to Dallas since I was a boy, so yeah. But I have been to the Woodlands, and the challenge with running an ad, and let's just do it real quickly so we can see default settings. So we've created a landing page. We haven't had time to customize it with a good picture, but it should be here somewhere.
Hey, Vincent, if you can touch for a minute, whenever we're doing classes and looking at ad budgets and the cities we want to target and the radius and all those types of factors and how it affects the dollar amount allocated in the budget, can you kind of touch on that? I try to give a good explanation, but maybe you've got a better explanation once we get onto that page.
I can try. I'm not exactly sure what let me ask a question though. Do you know the zip code or a zip code for the Woodlands?
Yeah, do 77380.
So I'm going to do 77380, lead ads, create ad. And remember, we don't have a super cool picture here, but it would have that super cool picture. But typing in the zip code puts this in, right? It says, hey, 4 homes sold in February. That was a high, right? For that zip code. And data points like that can make the thing a little more effective. But if we type in the Woodlands, I wonder if that will even show up here. Yeah, it does. Okay. And I would turn this off. This is kind of the standard way that people would run that ad. Here is the challenge with that. We'll get to your question in a minute, Brian. The Woodlands. Yeah. So this is here. And let's just go look at the map. And this is one of the reasons why this ad can often waste your money. And you run an ad and you're like, it didn't work. Like I hear all these great things. Brian, Vince is saying things about Facebook, but when I do it, it doesn't work. And here's a good reason why. Let's see here. I can't see it. I can't see the legend, but it should pop up. Yeah. And so I can't, oh, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, that's 2 miles. So you see, that's the woodlands right there. In a 15-mile radius, it's almost everything on this map, right? So when you're running an ad in Facebook with their default targeting, all these people are seeing this ad, but you're just talking about that area. And that's why that kind of ad doesn't work until you take out this and you click retarget and you hit a group of people that you know have equity in woodlands only. That's what makes Facebook work. Okay. So if you're running home valuation landing pages like this, please, please, please get a list together. Let's talk a little bit about, are you saying, Brian, like what's affecting the price of an ad or a lead or what exactly were you mentioning?
Well, so I kind of explain it that, if I think the default is $35, I have reset mine to 50 as a default as well. But if, let's just say this was a generic landing page and it didn't say the woodlands and it was just find out your home value.
Yes.
The more areas that you target, you're diluting the volume of
Yeah.
exposure. And so either focus on less areas with the defaults, but as you grow the location, you need to grow the budget
Yeah.
or reduce the time. Is that about accurate?
Yeah, I don't know about reducing the time, but let me explain to you here where I see that happening and where I see that happening in Texas, right? So let's say that you have a home for sale. And let's kind of do it this. I actually just had this conversation with somebody yesterday who had a listing and they want to market it outside of their state because they know people are moving from other parts, right? So if you click on Facebook and Instagram ad here, it's going to by default target the city where it is, right? But you might say, well, okay, that's okay, but actually I want to target people in Chicago, right? And I also want to target people that live in Newport Beach, California. They're trying to get out of high tax areas, right? And maybe people in New Jersey or New York, right? These cold areas, there are people retiring, you know this, and they're moving to warmer areas where the cost of living is a lot less. If you do something like that, let's be clear. A buyer lead costs $3 to $4 each. You're not gonna get many leads because you're not getting more leads because you're targeting more areas. I don't know if you're going to get fewer leads because I don't think that cost of lead changes much, but you're not getting really an effective ad. And what I was telling this person and what I would suggest to you is if you think these are hot areas to target, do one at a time so that when you run the ad, whether it's for $35 or for 50, you're going to know like, hey, those people in Chicago are responding quicker. I'm converting faster or I'm getting more leads from that area. And then the same day or the next day, run an ad in New York and do it again for the same price and just see compare those areas. Like, am I getting great traction from California or no? Because if not, next week, I'm going to go do it in just the areas where I'm pulling people out of quickly. And that's kind of my view. There's a couple things that are advanced that can affect the price of leads. And I'm going to show you one. First, if I click on this blue button that says change image, I highly recommend when you're working with a listing that you absolutely do this because it just makes your ad more effective. So I'm going to use 5 photos and you'll have all your photos here from your listing. This is called a carousel ad. And let's put this one here and oh yeah, kitchen and this, right? So there's 5 pictures. Click insert And this changes the ad from a static image to this, where if somebody's interested in the home, they can kind of look a little bit more at the home, right? And just that little bit more of information is going to help you. If you're thinking, oh, you know what, I want this background, that backyard picture in the back, boom, you just change it. And it's going to change the order of those photos. Okay. So I definitely recommend that. And then there's also something else. Let's see here. I'm going to kind of get out of this and go back to it. So I don't know if any of you work on video, like if you're walking through an open house, or if you're talking about a neighborhood and you can embed that in. So let's say you were going to do a home valuation ad on the Woodlands, and you whipped out your smartphone or your camera and you just start walking down the street and say, hey, you know what? I'm Brian, and I work here with LPT, and I've been here for 20 years. And here's the report on the Woodland. This is what's going on right now. Here's how many homes it's sold, and blah, blah, blah. And this is what I think you should think of. And I've been helping people for years. Give me a shout. Click the button below if you need some help, right? If he puts that on his computer and he clicks this button, he can upload that video right here, and it will replace that photo right there. And at that point, that will drop your cost of your leads. Because Facebook is trying to give everybody an incentive to put more video content on their platform. Why would they do that? More videos on Facebook, the more time people spend on Facebook and the more money Facebook makes. So they're going to say, hey, instead of your static picture that we're looking at here, put a video in there. For you, you're getting more leads per dollar. You're also getting fantastic branding, right? Because you're talking, or maybe you're showing the house in a much better way than a static picture. And let me just, in case you don't know what that ad's going to look like, let's go over to Facebook real quick. And yeah. So there's Ping with her dog. Oh, the eclipse, great. So ads show up right here, right? And it could be like, here's Shein, right? This clothing company. If it was a video, it would just be rolling in the middle of that page. And it might be you talking, or it might be, you're going through the home or something like that. Whoa, what's that craziness? But anyway, that's the value of putting a video. Yeah, I shouldn't be scrolling through Facebook
Oops.
Live. Sorry. So I think that's that's kind of what I know. I don't know, Brian, if you're saying that you actually get less of a result, but I think
Yeah,
getting
I
multiple.
think I understand you. So you're saying it's just the division. So the buyer leads cost $3 to $4,
Yeah.
and seller leads are going to be anywhere from 7 to 15 maybe.
Yeah. They can
Okay.
actually be $2.50 a lead if you're doing pending or under contract ads. Sold ads are $7. PDF guides, there are 40 PDF guides for homeowners. Those leads often cost 10 or 12 bucks each. But home valuation ads can cost $12 to $15 each. So a $50 ad on a what is your home worth in the Woodlands ad, those leads could cost 15 bucks each. So for the $50 ad, you're going to have 3 leads, right? If you ran a pending ad, you're going to have 20 leads.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'm going to kind of, end on is the number one website in the country, and that is Google. And a lot of companies don't really compete here. A lot of newer agents don't compete here. And part of it is the complexity of running an ad. It's not easy at all. And the other is the cost per lead. Okay. And so when 86% of all people in the United States, their questions happen on this website. And if it's a question like, how do I sell my home, or what's it cost to sell my home, or what's commission, or what are the taxes, and all those questions, when people type that in, these folks right here are paying for those keywords in my area. Okay. You might want to type in some of these keywords, and I'm going to share something with you.
Yeah, I expected it. Did you see it coming? Oh, from a mile away. Yeah. Really?
Hold
100%.
on.
Yeah. She's so my problem, not my man. Yeah, bitch. I said.
Hey, Kim, can you mute? There you go.
Sorry. So let's see. Virtuance. Let's see. There's a website and let me see if I can pull it up. I'm not sure what happened there. Virtuance. This we actually use keywords. So yeah. So these are the top keywords that people are using. This is a great article, and I'll share it with everybody right now. You might want to save this. You might want to save it just to know what people are thinking. What I don't, and this is what you would use if you are going to go to Google and do it yourself. What they are doing is they refresh this article like every few months, a couple times a year. These are the searches that people are doing when they want to buy a house. And you see how many searches happen every month. When they want to sell a home, these are the words they use. Okay. So you might want to look at that and know, like, this is what's on people's mind, right? Whether they're buying or selling. There are a few articles like that. And so I told my team, like, you get those every quarter and you put them in Google. So if you are using our software to run an ad and you say, hey, I want to run an ad on the Woodlands in the #1 area, on the #1 website in the country, this is how you do it. You type in the Woodlands. Oh, what's that? That's always bad when you see that. Maybe I need a battery in my keyboard. Seems like it's, well, okay, we'll come back to that. You're just typing in the city, and we can click here. It would show us the landing page that we're looking at. But here's the key thing. It's a $50 a day ad, right? The other ones are $50 a week. And I'll tell you why we do that. Leads on Google, because it's the #1 website in the country, they charge the most. And those leads can cost, I can tell you this, in Dallas, they're $30 each. In Pennsylvania, they're $22 each. In Utah, they're $17 each. So if you have a $50 ad and they're charging $30 per lead, you might want to change it to $60. That means you'll get 2 leads a day, right? $50, $60 a day budget. Now, I don't know what they're going to cost, but they're probably not going to be too far from the Dallas costs, right? Because the homes are kind of close in price. But here is the ugly part of Google that you don't need to know unless you want to go do it yourself without our software. All those keywords I showed you, we're putting the relevant ones for the tools that you're using right here. When you see this here, so let's click this. This is a desktop view. That's what the ad's going to look like. And that blue section is called headlines. When you write an ad in Google, you have to have a minimum of 3 headlines. You may not know what to write. This gray area here, or what I'm highlighting, that's called a description. You have to write 3 descriptions as well. We do all that automatically, as well as embed the keywords that are relevant to what the tool you're pointing to. And all you have to do, if your keyboard works, there we go, is you type in the Woodlands. You don't even need to look at advanced options. You just click publish. And that's how you compete on the #1 website in the country.
Vince, I ran a Google ad for Montgomery,
Yeah.
which is a city here. And so $5.03 per lead. I got 32 leads on that. So
on Google, $5 seller leads from that kind of ad. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, but that's so that must be $5 per click. Okay, yeah, it is.
It is.
Okay, so I got 32 leads for $400.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Seller leads.
Yes.
And let me just say what, just to repeat so you understand, it's called pay per click advertising. And I think you said you're getting charged around $4 or $5 per click. And that means I do my search, I see this, and I click on it. I don't want to click on this because it's going to chew up 5 of their bucks, right? And I don't really want to do that to somebody, but that's what it would do. And then the page does the work and captures the lead. And so, Brian, how many leads did you get? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it was 78 clicks, so $5.03 a click.
Yeah.
And I got 32 registrations.
That's
$12.25.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's
lead.
actually really good. That's a good volume of leads too. So yeah, that's the kind of thing. So I will tell you this a little bit, I always feel like teams convert leads better than a single agent. I think if you're a team, you kind of have multiple mouths to feed, and then they have a focus on, like, we got to work on those leads. We can't just make one call and forget it. And so I set up teams around the country, and some of, I've had a team that operates, I can't remember where they are, but they told me that they convert 1 out of 40 Google leads, and they convert 1 out of 70 Facebook leads, right? And so, Brian, again, back to that video that you did, generated on a home 114 leads, but he also converted 3 of those, right? 3 or 4 of those. So that's a higher conversion rate. And that just points to, what are you doing for converting, right? Starting with text, I think, is brilliant. So that's kind of my story, guys. I don't want to ramble on here forever. I want you to try to get more listings with your business. It's going to be important going forward. As you can see here from our talk, there are a lot of ways to get listings. Some of them are free. Some of them cost, ad budget or print budget. There's different quality of leads, but you want to really make sure, I think you really want to get that list, and it sounds like you have a resource to build those lists, and attack those people from Facebook, from Google, from email, and from print. And, any Fortune 500 company, they are doing that same thing. You just got to play a little bit higher level.
And are you, so on list source that I
Yes.
just put in the chat, that is able to pull email addresses as well?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe not for everything, but
Yeah.
most of them. Okay.
Yeah.
In Land Voice, on neighborhood search, it pulls about 25% of the properties will have email addresses. So
Yeah. And there's something, and let me ask you this. So I'll just give you kind of a pro tip. You might have been in the industry for a long time, right? And you might have been buying leads from all, like, Zillow and Realtor.com and Homes.com, wherever, and you got them all sitting in your CRM, or you got them sitting in Excel files in your on your computer, right? And if you go over here to the ad section, you put them all together and you upload them, like I was showing you for that custom audience for the Woodlands or Conroe. You can call them, my dusty old leads, right? And the value is not necessarily just getting those people to convert, but let me explain something. There's a criticism of Facebook that they kind of know everything that you're doing, right? Because they got apps all over, and they can tell when you're going here and there, and they just know way too much, right? And I'm not really trying to get into that, but when you upload a list to Facebook, and this kind of reminded me because of the question of email. Facebook looks at the name and they match it to the email. And if you got the phone number, they're going to match it. Go, that's the person. That's the person that they're trying to target. And so when you run the ad and you're targeting that person, they're like, okay, cool. We're hitting it. We're getting in front of that person, right? Well, inside of Facebook, not inside of our system, you can go to custom audiences and you can create a lookalike audience. And this is really crazy, but you might want to do this. It's a little bit techy. And so let's say you've been buying leads for 5 years and you upload it to the custom audience and you call it My Dusty Leads. And then you go to Facebook and say, those are good leads because I paid for them. I know they're researching. Facebook, create a lookalike audience that looks like those people. And I want that to be 5,000 leads long. Well, when you captured those leads, they were doing all kinds of things that you had no idea what they were doing. They were eating in restaurants, they were taking vacations, they were playing golf. You don't really know because you never really talked to them. But you know who knows? Facebook. And when you say create a lookalike audience, they go, oh yeah, well, here's 10,000 people that act just like those people. So we're going to create that lookalike audience. And now you have a broader target base to be hitting. It's a little spooky, but it's worth mentioning. It's kind of crazy. But I can't keep rambling on here. I know you guys have work to do.
That's all right. Can we ask for 7 minutes of Q&A?
Of course.
Just to
Yeah,
10
yeah.
after?
Yeah.
Anybody have specific questions they want to ask?
while we're waiting, let's go over to the listings page and let me show you something that I forgot to mention. Oh, I see something in the chat here.
That was just me.
Oh, okay. Okay. In the listing section is a listing presentation area. I highly recommend you download this property marketing plan. It's a 27-page report. You're branded on every page. And it talks about all the ways, all the things we're doing to market that home. It doesn't mention that half of this stuff is done automatically for you. And you don't need to mention it either. It's just like, this is what I bring to the table to sell your home. And it's really competitive. It's hard to compete against that. And then, you know, if you want, you can run ads on Facebook and talk about all those great things, but it's kind of helping you get the word out of your marketing plan, right? And this one even has a video embedded in it. So, sorry.
Vincent, I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to market a sold listing
Yeah.
or a pending listing, I heard that you can grab it, but if you had it there as active, you can
Yeah. Switch it.
create an ad for sold for it, or do you have to
No.
change the status internally?
Right here. So your listing, do you have your, give me 1 second for this page to pull up. Your listing might be sitting here as active. You just click the button and you say it's sold. And then when you run the ad, it's got all the languages all changed. It's all updated because it's now sold.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
And that same is true for pending if you're going to be doing pending ads, right? Or under contract ads.
Oh my God, he's hungry. He's so hungry. Yes, sure.
I got a lot of notes, Vincent. I got a whole page of notes here.
Okay. Let me think. One thing I didn't mention, and I should really mention it. And this is the tool that I think our clients, agents like you, are least comfortable using. But if you download that listing presentation that I said, and you use that in your discussion, there's a talk about social media and all the things we can do to help you on social media and help that homeowner. And one of the things it talks about is the seller's social media tools. So you can actually say, and it'll be written in the presentation, that not only do I post on my social media pages as an agent, and not only do I put a virtual tour on YouTube automatically for you, I also have tools for you, right? And let's pick a property. This one doesn't look right. So, you know, what I've been talking about are ways to capture leads, right? Well, these leads are a little bit more like referrals. And I think everybody would prefer to have referrals than just a random internet lead. And so that's why you want to use this seller social media. So we email this to you. So Rosa, if you flip your property to sold, this email is going to show up in your box, in your email box. And it's going to tell you, forward it to your client and call your client for 5 seconds and ask them to put it on their wall. You actually want to do this when the home is just listed, and you want to do it when it's open house, and just like this, when it's sold. Okay. And let me show you why. So when I'm doing this, it's me, and so it doesn't make a ton of sense. But when your client does it, I'm assuming you're friends with your client. You don't have to be, actually, because it doesn't matter. You don't have to be.
Depends how long it took to sell the property.
What's that?
Depends how long it took to sell the property.
Exactly. So it says, hey, our home is just sold and we want to recommend Brian at LPT. Here's his phone number and email in front of all my friends and family and colleagues on Facebook, right? If one of their friends, and literally our clients like come in the mastermind group, why am I getting seller leads out of nowhere? I'm not running ads. They have shared this 2 or 3 months earlier with their client, and one of their relatives logs in and sees, oh, so-and-so sold their home. If they click on it, they land on this page that we created for them. And at some point, this page is going to pop up and offer them a free home value. These are getting leads from your sphere of influence of your current clients. They're going to be a little bit easier to convert because they've already heard maybe 2 or 3 times on Facebook that you were their friend's agent. So if you're getting that in your email, just open it up, forward it, call your client, ask them to put it on Facebook for you. It's part of the listing presentation. So if you download the listing presentation, you will probably feel a little more comfortable with that.
Awesome. Vince, I did notice that you guys added a database and cold calling scripts. That's brand new, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, if you want to be more on the phone and to call about this home, so this home I think is this script is kind of saying that it's, you know, for sale. We're just giving you that script. We give you two kinds of scripts, a cold calling script here and a short form video script. And, you know, I mentioned when you're running an ad that you're going to get more leads per dollar when you have a video. You could take your smartphone and say, hey, I'm going to tell you about this open house today. This will, and this one is sold. So it's kind of giving you the script for a sold story, right? But that's for database cold calling if you want to call through your list. And honestly, that's a big deal. So Brian, as you will see, we're working right now on turning our leads tab into almost like a mini CRM. And, you know, there are some great CRM companies out there, and we don't want to compete with that. But we do want to give a place where agents can work through their leads. And that might include cold calling them, right? You got old leads, you want to just jump on them. When we click here to view details, this is going to change a lot. There's going to be some filters. So you're going to see your top 10 listing leads, your top 10 buyer leads, and just your old leads that you need to go through so that you can hit your hot ones and keep on top of your old ones to just keep them fresh. So when we're adding an activity, that activity might just be a scheduled call, right? Every once in a while. So interesting. Sorry, I'm looking at what this is. But anyway, that's going to be built out. We're working on that right now. And I think that's why the cold calling scripts are in there, because we're getting the pieces of that in here.
I got it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I don't see any more questions. So let me just talk about one more thing that I think everybody should be taking advantage of. There is a client review website. If you're capturing reviews anywhere on the internet, we have a web page to help you showcase those. And if your reviews are on the internet, maybe they're buried in the back of Zillow, maybe they're buried, you know, on Testimonial Tree. Well, people would have to find that. This page is showcasing all your reviews. It's got all of your PDF guides. It's got our marketing plan, right? You can even snap in a testimonial. If anybody wants to download any of these PDF guides, you know they're branded to you on every page. And they just got to give up their contact information. All your listings, whether they're borrowed or yours or sold or coming soon, they're going to sit right here. And if people click on any of these listings, it's going to take them to a single property website where at some point they're going to become ideally a lead. So your reviews can be used to generate more leads. And I just want to make sure that you are aware of that. That is on the review page. You can add your reviews up here. And you can even have us auto post it, or you can just share it and tag your client. Say, hey, thanks for that review. Because when you do that, all their friends and family see that. And as you now can see, that page is just designed to capture leads for you. I don't see any other questions.
Well, Vincent, I really appreciate you jumping on. Valuable resources. And like I said, I've got a whole page of notes, and I am on listings leads almost every day. So I've always learned something new.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody. If you have questions, Brian, of course, you know how to get a hold of me. And if
Absolutely.
anybody does have kind of questions, you can bounce them back to me.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Have a
Have a
great
good
week.
day. Send me the recording, Mitz.
I will. Yep.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.